It was crazy, entertaining work at that particular time. So I said, you know what? I like this kid.
He's touching 50 years old. I think, you know, he should leave it where it is, you know.
Fighter, and I can see why he won so many fights, and I can see why he's going down as a Hall of Famer. It's just certain moves that he made.
After training with Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather described the session as crazy work and expressed genuine admiration. He acknowledged Manny as a future Hall of Famer and warned others not to underestimate him. Just because Floyd once beat him doesn't mean he's an easy opponent. Pacquiao remains sharp-skilled and incredibly dangerous.
We talk about TBE, it's for a reason now. One thing about him, he's a hell of a fighter. You know, when we talk about Hall of Famer, he's a Hall of Famer. But nobody has the remedy on how to beat Floyd Mayweather. Don't let them trick you into getting your ass whooped again.
マニーの言葉を信じて
Julio César muy seguro, no sentía ningún temor. Sabía que al macho Camacho.
Floyd Mayweather praised Manny Pacquiao, highlighting his speed punching style and slick movements as proof of his Hall of Fame status. He admitted Manny was the toughest opponent he has ever faced, noting Pacquiao's unmatched rhythm and timing. That still impress him. Training together reminded Floyd of Pacquiao's elite and relentless skill set.
The roughest fight you ever had, who was it?
The best fighter I ever fought, probably was Manny Pacquiao. Because of his movement.
But you made it look easy.
But he's a hell of a fighter, and I can see why he won so many fights, and I can see why he's going down as a Hall of Famer. It's just certain moves that he made. But the roughest fighter probably was a guy named Emmanuel Augustus.
You talk about the drunken master?
The drunken master.
The drunken master?
It's tough.
Because he was awkward, huh?
It was just tough. And Miguel Cotto was very, very physically strong.
Yeah.
So you got different fighters. Different days you feel different way.
I have a video when I compared their resumes. And what I did was I grabbed all their opponents, and if they were in the top 10, if they were at number 1 ranked, I gave them 10 points. If they were at 10 ranked, I gave them 1 point. And if they weren't in the top 10, I gave them 0. And then I added them all up, and then I came up with an average of their resume opponent. And Floyd Mayweather had a slightly better resume. Slightly. It was by a point something.
At 46, Manny Pacquiao's speed in training remains sharp and electric. His punches still snap with power, and his footwork stays active and precise. Age hasn't slowed him down. His intensity, rhythm, and focus prove he's still a force in the ring moving. Like he's years younger, hungry and sharp. The July 19th clash between Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios is shaping up to be more than just a title bout. It's a generational showdown, with Pacquiao representing the golden era of boxing, and Barrios, symbolizing the new guard anticipation, is running high. However, this fight doesn't come without heavy concern. Pacquiao at 46 is walking into a physically punishing sport against an opponent more than a decade younger and in his prime. The primary issue looming over this fight isn't strategy or skill, it's health. Boxing at an advanced age brings significant risk, particularly with regard to brain injuries and long-term neurological damage.
10 seconds.
Despite the mounting concerns surrounding his age and long layoff, Manny Pacquiao has entered training camp with full intensity. Guided by his longtime trainer, Freddie Roach, the camp based in Los Angeles is focused on refining speed endurance and tactical precision, traits that defined Pacquiao's prime. Even as questions swirl about his readiness, Pacquiao is demonstrating the mindset of a competitor unwilling to fade quietly. His determination to reclaim the WBC welterweight title signals that this isn't a farewell tour, it's a mission to compete. Though there's significant excitement surrounding Pacquiao's comeback, it is paired with widespread concern. Critics argue that the romanticism of a legendary return shouldn't overshadow the reality of its dangers. Pacquiao hasn't fought professionally. Since 2021, meaning his ring rust is likely substantial, some health experts warn that returning at this age can have irreversible consequences, particularly regarding head trauma and neurological health. Even with his history of elite fitness, the human body inevitably declines.
This can be awesome. Legend Manny Pacquiao is fighting Mario Barrios for a welterweight championship. And he's 46 years old. I did a whole video about how I think this is really sad because Manny Pacquiao shouldn't be fighting at 46 years old because, you know, brain injuries. But if he wins, that can make the welterweight division crazy. If you don't know, the welterweight division has been historically a great one in boxing, but lately has been pretty dead. Boots Ennis is the best guy in it, and one of the reasons you may not have heard of him is because there's no one else for him to really fight in that division, so he just dominates it. Everyone's been talking about how there has been big names in the welterweight division, but now it's getting stacked with big names. Not necessarily the best fighters, but big names that are fun. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao. This division is getting absolutely insane, and Boots Ennis has a chance to run through it. Because honestly, I don't think any of those guys are better than him, and he will get the credit he deserves. What do you guys think about all this? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.
Despite the serious concerns surrounding his age and physical risks, Pacquiao remains unshaken. His demeanor, both in interviews and public training appearance, exudes calm confidence. When pressed about the age gap between him and Barrios, he responded, with composure that reflects his decades of experience under pressure. This isn't bravado. It's the poise of a fighter who has weathered the sport's harshest storms and still believes in his own capabilities. His unbothered attitude has become a rallying point for his loyal supporters who see his comeback not as reckless, but as a testament to his enduring competitive spirit. This mental edge could play a crucial role in what's expected to be a highly tactical bout. One of the strongest arguments in favor of Pacquiao's return is his consistent commitment to staying in shape. While many retired athletes let their fitness fade, Pacquiao never stepped away from training. His routine, surly morning runs, strength, sessions and shadowboxing drills never ceased. This continuity is what he believes sets him apart from other comeback stories. Even in retirement, his lifestyle remained rooted in discipline, and he has maintained a remarkably lean physique.
I'm hearing things here. Manny Pacquiao aiming for a shock return to the ring, age 46, Josh.
Yeah, I read something about that, man. It's, that guy's my hero, you know, I named my dog after him and stuff like that, you know, stuff, but he's touching 50 years old. I think, you know, he should leave it where it is, you know, but, you know, obviously, if you get a chance to share a ring with Manny Pacquiao, nobody's going to say no, you know?
While mainstream fans believe Pacquiao had hung up the gloves, for good insiders knew otherwise. The former champion participated in private exhibition bouts and closed-door sparring sessions that allowed him to keep his timing and reflexes sharp. These matches, often undocumented or barely publicized, helped him stay in rhythm and assess his physical state.
And are you excited to step into the ring again? Yes. What do you think of Barrios? He's a big, strong, he's young, he's 30. You have 16 years on him, man. Don't worry about it.
The upcoming fight against Mario Barrios carries historical weight for Pacquiao. The WBC welterweight title holds deep personal significance. It was among the first major belts he captured on his way to global superstardom now, over 2 decades later. Fighting for that same title gives this bout a full-circle narrative. Pacquiao isn't just chasing victory, he's crafting an ending that honors his beginnings.
Overhand right. Stop it! Welcome to K9 Boxing. And it's yours truly, Cornelius K9 Bundridge, the oldest world champion in junior history. And Manny Pacquiao is looking to step back in the ring, y'all, against Mario Barrios. July the 19th. If I'm not mistaken, it's July 19th. And I give Manny Pacquiao a good chance at winning. Because, you know, a lot of people say, well, he's been inactive. He's older. Man, but he throw punches. He has a lot of experience. And his last fight was an exhibition, which still was a fight and still kept him sharp, punching, doing something. So it ain't like he just ain't been in the ring, ain't did nothing. Yeah, he been working. It's like them underground boxing matches are real fights. And it keep you off bold. You know, Emmanuel Stewart used to do a lot of exhibitions for his guys, or his guys to get them sharp, to get them prepared for a fight. If they hadn't fought in a minute, just to have them fight sharp. What up, Keith? Yeah, just to have them fight sharp. So if they got in the ring and they hadn't fought in a minute, it won't seem like it. It'd be like it seemed like they just recently fought. Yeah, so, you know, it's a lot of stuff you can do to make yourself relevant, sharp, can have you right, ready for a fight. Yeah. My young dogs, Kevin, Kyrie, and Tadell, you know, the Hawk, the dogs, they fought to a draw.
Even with polished training clips and spirited interviews, skepticism lingers in the boxing world. Analysts and fans alike fear that visual sharpness in training doesn't always translate into actual fight endurance. Age-related declines can surface, suddenly in high-pressure moments, especially in later rounds. The gap in activity since his last professional match adds another layer of concern. As beloved as Pacquiao is, many question whether his body can still keep pace with the sport's brutal demands.
Boxing Doctor News told onto your gloves, boxing fans, the rumors are true. Manny Pacquiao is stepping back into the ring. At 46 years old, the Filipino legend is taking on WBC welterweight champ Mario Barrios this July. But here's the kicker. Pacquiao's first world title was as a flyweight, and now he wants to retire as the WBC welterweight champ. Talk about a career comeback, but can the Pac-Man turn back time? He hasn't been in top form lately, while Barrios is coming off a tough draw. Will Pacquiao's experience triumph over youth, or is this one fight too far? Either way, July is shaping up to be an explosive month for boxing. Pacquiao's rolling the dice one last time. Will he make history as the oldest welterweight champ ever? Get ready for a showdown that'll have you on the edge of your seat.
Pacquiao's career is a blueprint of adaptation and endurance. His ability to evolve from a wild, aggressive puncher to a smart, elusive tactician is a testament to his growth. With only 3 knockouts in 72 fights, and most of them occurring early, Oni has demonstrated an impressive capacity to take and avoid punishment. Over the years, he's adjusted to different weight classes and fighting styles, all while preserving his core strengths, speed angles, and timing.
This is a bad idea. Out of nowhere, the WBC decides they want their welterweight champion, Mario Barrios, to defend his belt against Manny Pacquiao. About 7 to 8, maybe 9, 10 years ago, I would have said, hells yeah, if we had a Manny Pacquiao championship fight. But man, he's been retired for 4 years. He's 46 years old. His last fight was in 2021, and he lost to Ugas in a unanimous decision. I watched his exhibition bout against the kickboxer guy in Japan. And again, I think people will look at this and go, well, Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson, and yeah, that happened. And I also said that Mike was going to get really badly hurt, and it was a terrible idea for him to do that. There were some health issues and everything else. Luckily, Mike didn't get super hurt in the fight, but this is a world championship level fight against a sitting world champion, and Manny does not belong in there. And again, I'm worried that he's going to get hurt back.
Teddy Atlas's analysis provides important context to the discussion around size and age. While Barrios appears to have the upper hand in youth and height, his natural weight class was previously lower. His rise through divisions to welterweight has been recent, and he may not carry the same natural power or resilience that seasoned welterweights. Do Atlas suggest that this evens the playing field and positions Pacquiao with a realistic shot? Still, the announcement of Pacquiao's title shot has not gone without backlash.
Ready to go again. Working with Freddie Roach. I feel like I'm back in 2010, the Wayback Machine. Pacquiao looked pretty good in some of the videos that I saw, like he wasn't in horrible shape, but he is 46 years old, going up against a guy that is more than a decade younger than him in Mario Barrios. Bob Arum, in the same interview, he said that he was worried about Manny Pacquiao. This is a guy that promoted Pacquiao for most of his professional career, not promoting this fight against Barrios, but he said he is concerned for Pacquiao going into this fight. Do you have concerns about Pacquiao going in?
No, I don't have concerns. And look, I can post a video and look good for 10 seconds right now. Just like when Mike Tyson looked like a killer when he was promoting the Jake Paul fight. You writers and you guys with the non-boxing, I need to get those videos out of your head, because they're just clips. Anyone could look good for that long. I can train you to look good for 10 seconds. It'll be pretty hard, but I can train you to look good for 10 seconds on video. So don't worry about that. I look, Bob Arum knows what he's talking about, because it's the legs that's gonna get to Pacquiao, not the power, not the explosive speed. It in front of a heavy bag, but whenever you're in front of an opponent and he's going to be moving around, it's the legs that are going to fail you. They're going to betray you. The power's not going to betray you. That lasts until the very end. His punch resistance, that's not going to betray him, because that never goes. Speed, and it's because you rely on your legs. That's the thing that goes at age. So at 46 years old, Manny Pacquiao's not going to have zero legs.
Jeff Mayweather voiced the frustration of many within the boxing community, claiming that giving Pacquiao a direct path to a championship undermines the sport's structure. Fighters who've been grinding through the rankings now see themselves bypassed by a legend re-entering the spotlight. While respect for Pacquiao's legacy is widespread, Mayweather argues that legacy shouldn't overshadow merit. This criticism underscores a broader debate within boxing: how to balance history fan, interest and fair opportunity.
He is big a man as those other welterweights. So start there. That's a fair point. He moved up in weight, Barrios. So he's not a naturally big, natural welterweight. And of course, we understand Pacquiao has moved up. My God, I don't even know when he first turned pro. You would have thought maybe he could have been a jockey.
Yeah,
I mean he was
108 pounds, right?
Yeah, jockeys are about 105 pounds, I think, somewhere around that neighborhood. I mean, can you imagine him though going to the whip? He might have killed the horse. That's the only thing. Yeah, you would have had Petter. What is it called? Peter, whatever. Peter. You would have had Peter coming after you. You know, look what he did to this horse. You know, but look, I love Pacquiao. One of my favorite people. One of my favorite fighters in the whole world. He's moved up from like whatever. Incredible weight. People forget about that. That's why I brought it up. How many weight classes this man has really moved up. Incredible. Just incredible. But now, yeah, Barrios wouldn't be as big as those other guys, but he's still a guy that's confident. He's a guy that's a world champion. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's a guy who's younger, who's active, you know, who I know you can't go by this guy beat this guy, but he could beat that guy, but he could beat this guy, but you can't go by that in my business, in this business, because styles make fights. But you're right. He beat Ugas. You could say Ugas was a little older than when he fought him a little bit, than when Pacquiao fought him, and maybe that made a difference, whatever. But he did take a lot of punishment, Pacquiao, in the Ugas fight. He would have been a jockey.
Yeah,
I mean, he was
108 pounds, right?
Yeah, jockeys are about 105 pounds, I think, somewhere around that neighborhood. I mean, can you imagine him though going to the whip? He might have killed the horse. That's the only thing. Yeah, you would have had Petter. What is it called? Peter, whatever. Peter. You would have had Peter coming after you. You know, look what he did to this horse. You know, but look, I love Pacquiao. One of my favorite people. One of my favorite fighters in the whole world. He's moved up from like whatever. Incredible weight. People forget about that. That's why I brought it up. How many weight classes this man has really moved up. Incredible. Just incredible. But now, yeah, Barrios wouldn't be as big as those other guys, but he's still a guy that's confident. He's a guy that's a world champion. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's a guy who's younger, who's active. You know, who I know you can't go by this guy beat this guy, but he could beat that guy, but he could beat this guy, but you can't go by that in my business, in this business, because styles make fights. But you're right. He beat Ugas. You could say Ugas was a little older than when he fought him a little bit than when Pacquiao fought him, and maybe that made a difference, whatever. But he did take a lot of punishment, Pacquiao, in the Ugas fight.